Improve my prose. I served for a year or so as a reporter for a newspaper in a police court, and during that time I heard perhaps 400 cases of so-called wife beating. The husbands, in their defense, almost invariably pleaded justification, and some of them told such tales of studied atrocity at the domestic hearth, both psychic and physical, that the learned magistrate discharged them with tears in his eyes, and the very catchpoles in the courtroom had to blow their noses. Many more men than women go insane, and many more married men than single men. The fact puzzles no one who has had the same opportunity that I had to find out what goes on year in and year out behind the doors of apparently happy homes. A woman, if she hates her husband, and many of them do, can make life so sour and obnoxious to him that even death upon the gallows seems sweet by comparison. This hatred, of course, is often and perhaps almost invariably quite justified. To be the wife of an ordinary man, indeed, is an experience that must be very hard to bear. The hollowness and vanity of the fellow, his petty meanness and stupidity, his puling sentimentality and credulity, his bombastic air of a cock on a dunghill, his anesthesia to all whispers and summonings of the spirit, above all, his loathsome comeliness in amour, all these things must revolt any woman above the lowest. To be the object of ophis affections of such a creature, even when they are honest and profound, cannot be expected to give any genuine joy to a woman of sense and refinement. His performance as a gallant, as Honore de Balzac long ago observed, unescapably suggests a guerrilla's efforts to play the violin. Women survive the tragicomedy only by dint of their great capacity for play acting. They are able to act so realistically that often they deceive even themselves. The average woman's contentment, indeed, is no more than a tribute to her histrionism. But there must be innumerable revolts in secret even so, and one sometimes wonders that so few women, with the thing so facile and so safe, poison their husbands. Perhaps it's not quite as rare as vital statistics make it out. The death rate among husbands is very much higher than among wives. More than once, indeed, I have gone to the funeral of an acquaintance who died suddenly, and observed a curious glitter in the eyes of the inconsolable widow. Even in this age of emancipation, normal women have few serious transactions in life save with their husbands and potential husbands. The business of marriage is their dominant concern from adolescence to senility. When they step outside their habitual circle, they show the same alert and eager wariness that they exhibit within it. A man who has dealings with them must keep his wits about him, and even when he is most cautious, he is often flabbergasted by their sudden and unconscionable forays. Whenever a woman goes into a trade, she quickly gets a reputation as a sharp trader. Every little town in America has its heady green, each sweating blood from turnips, each the terror of all the manufacturers of the neighborhood. The man who tackles such an Amazon of barter takes his fortune into his hands. He has little more chance of success against the feminine technique in business than he has against the feminine technique in marriage. In both arenas, the advantage of women lies in their freedom from sentimentality. In business, they address themselves wholly to their own profit, and give no thought whatever to the hopes, aspirations, and amour propre of their antagonists. And in the duel of sex they fence, not to make points, but to disable and disarm. A man, when he succeeds in throwing off a woman who has attempted to marry him, always carries away a maudlin sympathy for her in her defeat and dismay. But no one ever heard of a woman who pitied the poor fellow whose honest passions he had found it expedient to spurn. On the contrary, women take delight in such clownish agonies, and exhibit them proudly, and boast about them to other women. End of section 9. Woman Suffrage, Part 3.